Hi, welcome to Learning Monkey. I am Raghuveer. In this class we will discuss about perceptron. In our last class we already discussed about human nervous system, and the basic element that is present in human nervous system, in the central nervous system, is a neuron. So perceptron is very much similar to neuron. The basic element that is present in your neural networks is perceptron. This works exactly similar to the neuron in our central nervous system. For better understanding of this class, please watch our previous class and come back here. The link for the playlist is provided in the description below. Coming to today's class, let's take an example and understand what perceptron is. Here in this class, we will just understand how perceptron works. The clear and in-depth understanding of the perceptron we will understand in our next class. So coming to the example which we consider here is, this is our data set. So based on the assumption that you already watched our entire machine learning playlist, because all these basics are provided in a machine learning. So this is our data set. In this data set we are having x1, x2, x3 and x4 are input columns and y is the output column. 1, 2, 3, these are the data inputs. So means the first line of data, second data point, third data point, fourth data point, so on. We are having a 70 to 80,000 data points in our examples which we considered in our machine learning. So this is our data set. Now let's take a look at our perceptron. This is our perceptron. So what this perceptron will do here is, it will take input from the data set x1, x2, x3, x4, and we are taking one more extra value. So what is this, we will understand in our next class. So x1, x2, x3 and x4 values we will take from the input data set. Means we are taking one by one. Take the first data point, give it as an input to the perceptron. Take the second data point, give it as an input to the perceptron. Take the third data point, give it as an input to the perceptron. In the first data point we are having x1, x2, x3 and x4 values. Let's take an example, 1, 5, 7, 9. 1 is given here, 7 is given here, 5 is given here, 9 is given here. That is how we will give input to the perceptron. For this input, we will randomly generate some weights. We call them as W1, W2, W3 and W4. For this we call it as W0. So we will get a clear understanding about this in our next class. So randomly generate our weights. What happens here in the perceptron is, what are these weights, why we have to generate these weights, all these concepts we will get clarity in our next class. Here we will just understand how perceptron works. Just follow the procedure, you will get a good clarity in our next class. So weights are given here, W1, W2, W3, W4. What happens here is, W1 is multiplied by the input given by x1, W2 x2, W3 x3, W4 x4 and W0 with 1. This value we call it as Z here. Z is equal to W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus W3 x3 plus W4 x4 plus W0. So this we can written in a short form. W is equal to is a vector W1, W2, W3 and W4. X is equal to x1, x2, x3, x4. W transpose x plus W0. This equation we already seen in our machine learning classes. So W transpose x plus W0 is W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus W3 x3 plus W4 x4 plus W0. This value, the calculated value, we call it as Z. So this is what happening in perceptron. It will calculate W1 x1 on all this. That value we got here is Z. For this value we are applying a function f of Z. So this function we call it as activation function. So why we need this activation function, how many different types of activation functions available, what are the benefits and losses for those activation functions, we will discuss in our coming classes. For now, remember that we have to, for this value we will apply a function. That function we call it as a activation function. For understanding purpose we are taking a simple activation function here. The activation function which we consider here is f of z is activation function. F of z is equal to 1 if z greater than 0. This is the activation function which we considered here. For understanding purpose, f of z is equal to 1 value, it will output the 1 value if z greater than 0. F of z is equal to 0 if z less than or equal to 0. This is the activation function. So from this what we have understand here is, if you given an input and if it is multiplied by w1 x1 and summation of all these values, if the z value is greater than 0, our activation function will generate an output of 1, means our neuron is activated, our perceptron is activated. That's why we got the name activation function for f. In our last class we clearly discussed that neurons will get inputs from different dendrites and neuron will get activated or it may not be activated based on the input that it got from the different input sources, means dendrites. The same way our perceptron will get activated or it may not be activated based on the input value. Let's take an example here. If you take the first data point, if you send it as an input to this, it will be multiplied with weights and the summation value it will send into the activation function. The activation function will activated if the value f of z is giving 1, means the output we got for this perceptron is 1. Otherwise for this input this perceptron is not activated. Let's take second input data input value, send it into the, give it into the perceptron. If we got the output 1, it is activated, otherwise it is not activated. For this second input it may not be activated, for third input it may not be activated, for fourth input it may be activated. So like that this perceptron will activated based on the input given. It is working similar to neurons which we discussed in our previous class. This input giving to the perceptron we call it as input forwarding or feed forwarding. These terms we will discuss in our next class. The input giving to the perceptron we call it as input forwarding or feed forwarding. Okay, this is all about perceptron. This is how perceptron works. The in-depth intuition about what is this weights, why we are using this activation function, these questions we will discuss in our next class when we discuss back propagation. What is back propagation? All these things will be discussed in our next class. Hope you understand the concept. If you have any questions regarding the concept, please post your questions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you.